Should we go live?
We are live.
Okay,
we are live.
good.
Yeah. So, Adrian, do you know what my background is?
I can't. You got to change it.
I got to
can't look
zoom
at that.
out. If I
No,
do,
you didn't have to zoom out. I knew exactly what your background was, even with 1/10 of that face.
just with 1/10 of that face, it's so much. Yeah, I'll switch it out in a minute, but I had to do it. We'll talk about this in just a little bit, but GM, we're gonna get started. We'll be back in 40 seconds after this. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nanish Prof and Adrian, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is, it's Friday. I'm like, happy Friday. And I'm trying to pin this on Twitter so that it'll get seen. And you are here with Nanish Prof and Adrian for 29 minutes of Farcaster News to start your day, plus an interview with Rish from neynar. Very excited to chat with Rish. I think I'm gonna have to switch out this background. I don't think I can deal with it much longer, but let me explain it. So before we get rid of it, if I can even find it. So this happened. So this happened. Tucker Carlson interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried from jail. And Ted had asked, hey, what do all our new independent reporter friends think of this matchup? And this is also to make a point that we have a lot of new independent journalists who are popping up on Farcaster, which is pretty cool, following in Murtaza's footsteps. And this was from Murtaza. I actually saw this and thought it was a deep fake, but it's real. And I had the same exact moment of this can't be real. This can't possibly be real. It's real, folks. It's real. So there you go. He's back. Jesus. What is life right now?
Reality is stranger than AI fiction.
You think? All right. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't think I can live with that much longer. I watched parts of it. I have not watched the whole thing. So I will. But I have not yet. And yeah, I think I like this background better, which I'll explain in a moment.
So much better.
I just couldn't live with that too much longer, but I had to do it because when I put it as a background, I'm like, that's
okay.
Hilarious.
And you want me to explain my background?
Yes, please do.
Okay. I chose a very innocent, I think this is from a GM Farcaster.
It is.
It's one of our GM Farcaster backgrounds. It's our opening credits. It's meant to be soothing. It's a little blurred out, but also it's because I wanted my shirt to stand out. I don't want you to look at the background. I want you to look at my
fantastic.
Shirt. Can you see it?
It is. It's the Clanker World shirt. Yeah. I love it. And that was
yellow.
And a non-poppy was handing those out, and love it. That looks great with that background. You're right. So, good question, Sigwider. How do you get on podcasts while in jail? Apparently, how do you get on Twitter while you're in jail? And then somebody said we should get him on Farcaster, and I went, you want to give this man a wallet? No.
I don't know. Why not? Get everyone on Farcaster.
Not him. No. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. All right, moving on. We do have some other interesting news. So on Monday, we talked about this. We talked about the strategic Bitcoin reserve and that it was coming. And the markets went a little crazy over the weekend on Sunday when the president tweeted about this, or truced about it, or whatever you call it. And people were kind of like really overly excited. And I said, no, this is not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is maybe we get a Bitcoin reserve. And the only thing they can really do is put the Bitcoin that we are, or the crypto that we already hold, I should say, into the reserve. But they're not going to be able to buy any additional without Congress. And ta-da, that's exactly what happened. Ta-da! So for those who don't know, I'm actually a lawyer. So like I wasn't just talking on my ass. Yeah, there was no way for us to literally, we are not set up. We don't have the funds that have been allocated, and we also don't have a procedure to buy crypto as a government. So the only thing we can really do is hold what we have, and that's what this Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve will do for now. Is it will just continue to hold the assets we already have and make sure they don't get sold, because that has been an issue in the past where we've actually sold Bitcoin and we've ended up selling it at a loss, massive loss. So that's good news. And also good news today is the first White House Crypto Summit. And here's some of the attendees. There's been a lot of like misinformation about who's going, and it's a little confusing, but we do know that obviously David Sachs, I don't know why he's down here on this. He probably should be up here. Like, I'm not sure who created this. But David Sachs is the AI and crypto czar. And so he is running this particular summit. This is the first time anything like this has been done. So that's what's kind of exciting about it. Brian Armstrong will be there. We've got some, legit folks who are going to be in presence, and some maybe less legit folks. I did see, and I don't see him on this list, but I don't think I see him on this list. Polymarket, Shane from Polymarket, CEO founder, is going to be there as well, which I think that is fantastic. Brian Armstrong and a few other folks you may know. Michael Saylor, of course, managed to find himself there. So it's, the BT Maxis are well represented, but I'm hoping that maybe we hear from Brian Armstrong about this on Farcaster. That would be lovely. So I assume that's why Superanon was giving him a GM today, hoping to prompt him to report back. So just interesting. I'm looking forward to see what comes out of it. My expectations are incredibly low, but I think the fact that they're having the conversation is great. So there we go.
Yeah. Listen, lots of speculation always about what's going to happen, even, in terms of the executive order. And then people get disappointed because you didn't pump my bags. But
you didn't pump
that's exactly it. That's not, I don't think that's what, I don't
what
think that's
about
what we
my
want.
bags? Yeah.
I think everything that's even being done, even okay, now there's a strategic reserve, right? It's just lending credibility to digital currencies.
And for those who are like, and this is probably not this particular audience, but in general, if some normie happens to come across this and are like, that's ridiculous, why are we holding Bitcoin? One thing to think about is that many countries in the world are holding Bitcoin. I can't say that about the other assets, but that is one argument for at least holding what we have. Because right now, for public knowledge of what we know is that we're holding the most amount of Bitcoin, of, more than China, more than Russia, more than other allies, and also our adversaries. So we kind of don't want to be in a position where we're holding less than them, because that's always a bad thing in general. So of any kind of asset. So, keep that in mind. I think there's great arguments for not buying more. I get that, especially for our current state of our economy, but for holding what we have, it makes a lot of sense. So,
yeah. Well, we don't have to do everything on day one anyway, but it's like, first, give some credibility to the space. Right. Maybe stop suing founders for doing nothing wrong.
That's all we ask.
Maybe stop debanking random people.
Things like that. Yeah.
And
stifling innovation. Maybe we don't do that anymore.
So
yeah.
Baby steps.
Exactly. And I think we've got some really great folks who are going to be there, who will represent us well and represent those interests. Brian Armstrong will be able to speak to entrepreneurs and what they're doing and what they're building and bringing the world on chain and things like that. And I think that's important that we're getting that message into a new audience. So looking forward to see what comes out of this.
Great.
But yeah, we don't need everything on day one. And we definitely, there's certain tokens we do not need in a strategic reserve.
Yeah, full stop.
Full stop. And I don't even have to mention their names. You know what they are. This, moving into Farcaster news, this from V, earn rewards for inviting users to Farcaster. Top 50 inviters each week earn rewards. So this is a whole separate thing. So what was happening before is you were getting a boost. If you invited, you were getting a boost in the weekly rewards. Now this is a whole separate leaderboard. New leaderboard alert. Yes to crypto. New leaderboard alert.
And don't even try to win because Afrotrix will already beat you before you get out of bed.
Yeah, it's true story.
Like,
true story. Yeah. Speaking of, yeah, get paid for casting. Now get paid for inviting. And this was about Afrotrix. You can now get paid for onboarding people to Warpcast. I just received $37 in my Warplet for placing number 2 on the invite leaderboard. So who has won? I don't even know. I don't know who this champion was here. If anybody knows, oh, wait a minute. Newcaster. I don't know what Newcaster is. Okay.
Oh, Newcaster sounds like a bot or something. Is it
sounds like a bot? This sounds wrong.
Or some sort of, I don't know who Newcaster is.
I'm not sure. Well, maybe they got moved off of here is what I'm guessing. If she ended up at number 2, I'm not sure. So anyway, top 50 inviters each week earn rewards, points based on number and quality of users, more below. Reward pool is $1,000 and distributed proportionally by points earned. Tap invites in the top right corner of the app to open this. So there you go. And then more about how the points work: 500 for a sign up, 2,500 if they complete onboarding and follow 5 users, 1,500 if they verify a phone number during onboarding, 1,000 if they verify an X account during onboarding. I love that the X account is less. I just think that's funny. 750 if they end up getting ranked with a spam level 2, unlikely to engage in spammy behavior. The goal is to onboard real humans and incentivize people who want to put time and effort into this. If there is obvious gaming of the system to onboard fake or inauthentic accounts, we'll adjust the points system accordingly. So, you know, someone will always try to build a better mousetrap, and there you go. They'll be there to whack-a-mole. There you go. But this is fun. Another way you can be rewarded. So if you're out there onboarding your friends and family, like Linda has been doing, feel free to participate in this.
Yeah.
And then speaking
so
of,
it's like, okay, so Warpcast, Merkle is now rewarding people for casting bangers. So like engagement, and that's the largest pool. Inviting people, so growing the network, and developers. So developers making the most popular frames are getting rewards as well.
So question about users are invited to immediately get into spam. That has to be talked about. If that is happening, flag them. If you are a good active user who is not spam label, I do 2 things. I would, shout it out, say, hey, this person is so-and-so. I just onboarded them. They are not spam. And then I would tag Peachy because she will go to bat for you. If this is a real human who is going to contribute to the protocol, Peachy is your person. I feel like I need like a sign, that like a union sign, but something, I don't know, something Peachy-esque, because she will help. She will definitely help you with that. So there you go. And then this, in related news from Linda, are you onboarding your friends and family and they feel like hostages? We now have Far Captive. This taking logo Rex for the new channel Far Captive for friends and family members forced to sign up to Farcaster. HD Kelly Kate for the idea, and Crystal AI for the name suggestion. I do think this is funny. Kelly Kate is Linda's sister-in-law, Will Warren's sister, I assume. And so that's pretty funny. So if you could have really made out here, Adrian, back in the day. You have many friends and family if you're onboarded. They might love this channel.
I know.
I gave up. I tried it. I gave up. They were just like not interested. But yeah, I think this is funny. It's a good way to, joke around a little bit until they get comfortable. So I think all of those things are good. This from Dan New on-chain trending notifications. Experimenting with social signals for on-chain activity. We previously had this for trending NFTs, and I loved it. We will continue. I miss it. I miss the NFT tab. We'll continue to iterate based on feedback. You can toggle off in notification settings. So there you go. So if you want to see what people are buying, also great for this is, why am I forgetting the name of it? Hello, I just blanked out. Someone help me. Now I'm looking through my apps trying to find it. What the heck is it? The thing that Kagusha and team have been building. Interface. I had a blank. Interface is great for this. If you follow, but you have to then follow people on Interface, but it has a Farcaster social feed in it, so it's easy to find those folks as well. So, but this is like a more of an in-app version of that. So see what people are buying, see what's trending, things like that. So pretty cool. And I love this. Shipping new feature in a consumer act. How can I hide this? And then
give me more.
Good feature. How can I hide this good feature? You can't make everybody happy. But you can turn this off. If you don't like it, turn it off and you won't see it. So, and that's what we want. We just want, ways to do things like that. It's helpful. I like seeing what's trending. I like seeing what people are buying. And I like seeing, I get alerts from Interface all the time. This person's buying this. And it has helped me find things. I'm like, oh, I hadn't even heard about that. Then I go DYOR. That is an important part of this. Don't just jump. Check first. And also, cryptocurrency is very volatile. DYR, NFA, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if we still need to do that in the crime season, but I'm going to anyway. This from Peachy. What do we want? Pennies. Where do we want them? In our warplets. If you aren't familiar, people have been dropping pennies into people's wallets to get attention. So this was set to Beatles music. Penny Rain is in my warplet and my notifications. I'm not going to sing that. But I also have experienced this with my warplet. So this was my recent warplet. All my pennies. 2 cents, 1 cent, 2 cents, 1 cent. So the first couple times this happened, I actually went and looked at the person's profile because I was just curious, like, who the heck is this? This, I'm not going to bother. It's too much. I can't. But you can now hide this. So new Warpcast wallet feature. Filter out unusual transactions. This is for some of you that are forcefully collecting pennies. Now you can start enjoying a cleaner history. Thoughts on that? Like, hey, it's actual money. At least they're not just sending random spam. Now they're sending USDC. And hey, I'm fine with that. It's the best spam I've gotten. Cool.
It's like the least, what do I like? People complaining about. I've seen so much worse things get dropped in my wallet, and I'm so used to just there's so
ignoring
much crap.
Them. Yeah,
there's so much crap. You're right. So I'm already used to just ignoring stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's filter out unusual transactions so I don't see them, but then aggregate all the pennies and tell me when it reaches like $100. Then.
Yeah, sure. That's great. Yeah, I'm fine with that. You can buy at least one egg at this point. Maybe not a whole dozen, but maybe some days. One thing I also just wanted to point out that bothered me here, Pirobs, however you say your name. If you click on the word wallet, it will change to Warplet. So when you're doing your screenshots, please do that.
Must say Warplet. Yeah.
Say Warplet.
Do you remember I was like on vacation when Warplet came out and I couldn't really, and then I came back and I said I hated Warplet.
Yeah.
I changed my mind.
You're there now?
Yeah.
It takes a minute.
It takes a minute. I'm full on obsessed with the word Warplet.
I love Warplet. It makes it easier than just saying wallet because now I know exactly which wallet you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a warplet.
I have 1,700, but I only have one warplet.
Ooh, yeah.
Many wallets, one Warplet. And I think that's important. Yeah. But also when you're doing screenshots, please change it to Warplet first. It just makes it better. And by the way, this was my second, the one I did was my second version because I didn't change it at first and I went back and redid it. So, there you go. Also, I love this. Spammers self-identifying, making V's job too easy. That's exactly it. New spam vector. Spam accounts are sending users pennies to show up in their transactions list. They are real pennies, but also you are identifying yourself as a spammer.
Yeah. You're like paying people, you're giving away pennies, and then you're just be like, hey, you can just ban me from Warpcast.
This is the best spam ever. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's great. Thank you. Thank you, spammers.
Maybe this is AI playing with UBI. They're just experimenting with a V1 and like, how do we just start sending? You don't know.
I mean, if it was one account, sure.
I mean, launch AIs. This will be the future. Just drips of UBI into your Warplet.
Okay. I mean, I really, this is not bothering me, especially if I can hide it if I don't want to see it. But also, yeah, it's really not bothering me. If you want to send me real money, I'm fine with that. Especially since we're getting rid of the penny.
I was just going to say, I think we're getting rid of the penny finally.
We're getting rid of the pennies. So now
we're bringing it back. Digital pennies.
Digital pennies only. Yeah, so there you go. This from Dan. This is a new starter pack. Put all the folks in Vitalik.eth's new EF Silviculture Society in a starter pack. Wondering if people know, are they already on Farcaster? And there's a certain amount of people. I think they found Aleph is here. And then these other folks. So if you, first of all, you can go in and just follow everybody. And also, if you know of anyone else who, which I should, and I will, see, it's easy. There you go. Now I'm following all these people. But also, if you know any of the folks who maybe are on that list but didn't make it on here, please tag them so we can get them on there. This from Horsefacts, your Warpcast wallet, also aka Warplet, Horsefacts, you know better, just got way more powerful with this awesome DApp store frame from Arda, Aerodome, Fileverse, Veil, Revoke, and much more, all in a frame. So that is pretty cool. So there was like an app inception here because there are apps in a frame.
Within a frame, within a Warplet.
Within a Warplet, it's a lot. It's really, really a lot. There's an app and an app and an app, but there you go. And I think that's just going to continue into that whole inception. But very cool. Cool to see. I think there was another one that I saw as well that he had shared. Had the Revoke in there, and very cool. So go check it out. We need to get Veils in there. We need to get Apex on here. We have a lot of people we need to reach out to. We've just been like readjusting to life. So give us a moment. But we have a lot of people we want to get on the show that we talked to in December, and he was one of them. This from V. If you're looking for a way to get a list of reward winners each cycle, there's an API for that. And we'd love for you to grab that API. So you go right ahead. If you want to send us more fun things. There's been a lot of folks, we talked about this Wednesday, after Tuesday, like the new rewards that are getting dropped to the reward winners, and this is how they're doing it. So, DGen is sending, Good is, was sent. There was a whole bunch of different tokens that were sent out to the reward winners. So these are going to be your top 2,000, or depending on how many you want to do, it could be the top 100, whatever. But if you think about that as a marketing tool, I was thinking about this for Cast Out. When we run Cast Out again, I'm like, that would be a great marketing tool to be like, send this to the most prolific content creators on the platform to either get them to play or share what we're doing by sending them some tokens. So very cool.
And the combination, if you're doing it, it's like you can send tokens. People will see it. They'll ignore it because we've already covered that. That's what we're trained to do, is just ignore everything. But it's like you see it, then you start casting about it. Then if you can grab enough attention, then people will start to pay attention. You still need something interesting on the other side of your stupid coin. I'm not talking to you, Prof. I'm not calling Cast Out a stupid coin.
No, you're not.
Just saying
funny.
to everybody else who is
to everybody else, your stupid coins.
I'm talking to Dick. I'm talking to Dick Butt. I don't want it in my wallet. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a stupid coin. And here I am giving it attention.
You can send it to me. I'll take it. I don't care.
Fine. I know.
Shift it over.
I don't even want to waste my time.
It's hilarious. That is so funny. I do see Rich has joined us. We're gonna bring him up in just a few minutes. I'm gonna finish a few more notes and news. This is the big news of the week, whether you like it or not. In my life, in my moment, this is the big news. CTG, Crypto the Game, Resurrection Island is here. CTG is a massive crypto survival game where many play, but only one will win. Early access for season 3 is now live. All players from S1 and S2 are now eligible to mint. You could mint in this frame. It was not quite working for me, but I went to the website and actually it might have just opened. Early access is over. So that means it's open to anyone. So you can now go to cryptothegame.com and mint your game token if you want to play. I will be playing. I am very excited. And if you are on Farcaster and you are playing, drop into this note from Ted, roll call, or just tag me and say, yes, I'm playing. We do have a little group chat going for the Farcasters that are playing Crypto the Game. And also Chompix, who is a esports streamer and commentator and game player as well, posted this. And he was looking for somebody to sponsor him to play Crypto the Game. And it was because he heard about it when he was watching GM Farcaster the other day. So guess what? We're now sponsoring. And because Adrian was like, we should sponsor somebody. And so we are. So this is going to be a combo GM Farcaster Lil Nouns sponsorship of Chompix. He's going to be streaming on Twitch and on stream right here on Warpcast during his whole little journey. So when he's playing games for Crypto the Game, you'll be able to watch him streaming that. So look for that. Go give him a follow and look for all that. I will also be posting videos daily, probably multiple, of just like keeping you guys informed on what I'm doing. And I think we'll have a nice little interesting montage at the end watching me like lose my mind over 10 days. So it'll be fun. Or however long I last.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to not play. Like
I know
I've
you
never
are.
been more
You just want
excited
to watch.
to not play, to watch. I can't believe we're sponsoring a player.
I know.
We've already made enemies. By the way, we've already made enemies because of the people we're not sponsoring. So
sorry. I'm sorry. He was the right one. He's just, I mean, it's like his spring break from, school, whatever. He's the right person to sponsor. He wouldn't be able to play otherwise. I liked the initiative.
Don't let us down, dude.
Yeah, you can't let us down. I loved the initiative of the shout out of like, hey, sponsor me. It was a good, I just like the effort. I like the initiative. So, and he's a great streamer. I think it's the right fit. So I'm really excited to play. It was trending on Twitter yesterday. Only 800 players. Significant amount of people playing on Farcaster this year. So this was from Oxen. Last couple of Crypto the Games, everyone disappeared off the site for a week or so. Good opportunity to climb the leaderboard. Not this year, buddy. Not this year. I think you're going to see a lot of people posting on Farcaster during Crypto the Game. And there's also going to be one of the challenges will be a Farcaster challenge. So it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. And it's like about, I think 80 ETH is going to be the prize pool, assuming that it sells out. So we'll see. Matcha's somehow involved, and I'm not sure what this is, but I don't know. So there you go. Or maybe they're just trying to play off of this. I'm not sure, but there's a scarf. There's a scarf involved. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I think it's cool. A couple other quick things. really, I'm just kind of circling through really quick. I do want to talk about your bot, but I think that's a good thing to talk about with Rish because he might have some suggestions. I wanted to shout this out. Any women who want to host base meetups this month would love to see more of these, especially during Women's History Month. Comment if you're interested in a grant. So if you want to put together a base meetup, they have base meetups and grants all the time, but because it's Women's History Month and they just did a great Build Her brunch, if you're interested, check that out. This from TLDR, a genic revolution on Farcaster, Moxie AI stacks Bracky AI, which was launched by Clanker AI. What a place to be right now. So March Madness is right around the corner. Let's go. So that's going to be interesting. And I want to talk to Rish a little bit more about that. Lots of new folks jumping on Farcaster right now. So if you see somebody getting introduced, give them a follow, say hello. And if it's something that really interests you, shout it out. So this is Drew Hanlon. He is an NBA skills trainer, works with Jason Tatum of the Celtics, as well as a whole bunch of other folks, and very cool. So if you're an NBA fan, go give him a follow. DGen claim day happened. There's a new frame, which you can claim. I was having trouble with it, so I got to go to the website, but it is that claim time now. Season 13 airdrop is now live, so go make your claim before it's gone.
Okay, I helped. By the way,
Oops.
I did help my middle daughter claim her DGen tips.
Good.
Using her Warplet. This is partially why I've come around on Warplet and I'm obsessed with it, because before I had gotten her a separate EOA wallet. I got her an ENS when she was first onboarding. And it was a little confusing anyway. So fast forward, now I'm like, as she was getting tips, she was like, oh, cool, I'm getting money, but where is it? It was confusing. So I was like, here, just see if this works for you. She claimed she got about $4.56 worth of DGen.
Cool.
And she just goes, whoa, that's like a matcha. And it was like, like I can take myself out. So she was super excited. She still doesn't know how to actually spend any of this money, but it was.
All right, we need to get
easy.
her casting again so we can tip her. She needs to be casting more. Good.
And then
that's
they
awesome,
did say and then my other one was like, I feel like I had more money in my wallet before. I'm like, yeah, that's ETH. That's a separate story.
Yeah, I asked that question of V as well. Like, can you do something about the price of ETH? Because my keeps going down. I don't know why. Could you do something about that too?
Anyway.
Yeah, many such cases. Many such cases. This was awesome for JC. We do not have time to dive into it, but she did an incredible thread about all the awesome things in ETH Denver, tagged everyone. And of course, she did say that we had the best party. So there you go. But also it's like she, went through everything from ETH Denver, shouted everybody out, go give it a look. This is a great thread. And I totally agree with her assessment. It was an amazing time. So thank you, Sparks, for that. Random photo of a monkey doing blue steel. I just liked it. So Wanderloots, this was amazing. This was almost my background. And then I chose SBF over the monkey. There you go. And lastly, if you are not following Mumups, you're really missing out, because how freaking cute is this dog? Oh my God, this puppy is so cute, and he's learning place. He learned something new yesterday.
Oh, and you're so smart.
Look at him. Oh my goodness, Bert, you're adorable. So I just need more of this on my timeline. So thank you, Bert, for all you're doing. And I'm sure we'll see you at the top of the leaderboard again this week. But if you're not following Bert, you really need to. And he is Mumups on Warpcast. So there you go. All right. We ready to bring up Rish?
Yes.
You ready?
Okay. We kept him waiting long enough.
I know. All right. Welcome, Rish. We're bringing you up now. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so good to see you. It's been a while. You were one of our first guests, or not first? Who was first?
I think, Dan we had on in December, I think, and we had some guest hosts when I was gone. But I think Rish was the first Friday with Friends. We were going to do our series of maybe we'll bring people on Fridays. And it was last January.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's been that long. Wow, it's been a year. Yeah, so what's been happening? Not much.
Much,
It was catch us up.
Pre-frames. Last time we talked to you was pre-frames.
Yeah, is that right? Wow. That's a long time, yeah.
That's wild.
Since frames, wow, so much has happened in a year. I don't know how to catch that up, but we had a few different iterations of building things, and I think the ecosystems moved forward. We have had many different seasons of builds where we went from frames to token tipping to, I think this holiday season, there was agent meta with Ethernet and Clanker. Some of that is still around. We are in the V2 frame season now. So we keep going through these seasons, but yeah, it's exciting, and it's been fun to build through these and support people who are doing that.
And you have something coming up with called Just Frame It, and I just wanted to show that before we jump into some other things. But what is this all about? Can you talk a little bit about this, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, I mean, Limon is the right person to actually talk about this, but he's been running this initiative that is essentially a little sprint or hackathon to come build more frames, better frames. And he reached out to see if we could support, which we were, of course, more than happy to. And so he's running this in a few different areas, like it says, online, New York, Rome, through a couple of months. And you can apply. And if you are part of this cohort and you don't use neynar already, we'll give you free credits to go use it and help you build frames.
Awesome. So I guess we should back up a little bit and just talk about, for those who maybe are not familiar with neynar, just talk about what is neynar and how does it support sort of the developers on Farcaster.
Yeah, we are, at least within this ecosystem, we are the developer platform for Farcaster. And so if you're building something on Farcaster, we have a variety of tools you can use, all the layers of the stack. So from front-end components to back-end APIs to webhooks to data services. And our goal is to essentially help Farcaster development go smoother, faster, better. We also do some stuff on things that are very useful for Farcaster, but are not limited to Farcaster. So things like deploying tokens on base. So if you have an agent that is deploying tokens, you can use our token deployment APIs, abstract away all kinds of on-chain things into a simple REST API call. And we'll keep increasing some of that over time. But pretty much all our business is Farcaster focused in some way.
Awesome.
I love that messaging, Rish, by the way, because I when I first was introduced to neynar back in June of 2023 in Boston with this insane lightning talk that you gave.
It was such a good lightning talk.
It was so good.
Thank you.
And the recordings are available now. We should go rewatch. Thank you, Cameron.
We should.
Yeah.
We should.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like when I had first heard of neynar, it was kind of pitched to me, or at least what I heard was like Farcaster infrastructure. And as a dev, I was like, okay, I kind of know what that was. And then lately, I've been kind of when I call it, I've been like, oh, dev tooling, Farcaster infrastructure. I kind of just wrote this down to a developer platform for Farcaster. It just has I don't know if you've just started saying that. It's the first time I've heard you say it, but I really like it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
I feel like I'm always like, the next time somebody asks me, I might say some slightly different variation of that.
No,
but,
don't. Lock it in.
Yeah, now that we know this works, I'll keep saying that.
I think that's a really simple way to put it. But also there's a lot of, yes, I know most of the time when we're thinking developers, we're thinking people who actually know how to code. But you also have some no code tools that were very simple. Yeah. And that was super helpful with, creating just simple frames as well that were super helpful. Because I've used there's one for like photos or something like that I had used.
Right.
Made it nice and simple. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And it was easy.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That was cool. RIP V1 frames.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I kind of like that. I wish we could have both.
I mean, we kind of do, but yeah, who knows how long
Yeah.
the V1 sticks around.
I know. You're also diving into AI agents, and I'd love to talk about that, or actually maybe Adrian would love to talk about that. But this was
by the way,
was
what I'm
one.
cracking up on, by the way, is when Rich talks about the different seasons, like, and where
Yeah.
the meta, it was like, you know, obviously we've passed the AI agent. I am so stuck in the AI agent. Can you please wait on frames V2? I'm not quite, I have to finish my agent, then I want to build a frame V2, a V2 frame.
Exactly.
You guys move way too fast.
I mean, we'll keep supporting all the seasons throughout. So that's yeah.
But this was this was from you, continuing to make AI agents easier. One of the top things we heard was that agent developers want to fetch all previous context of having interacted with a certain user when responding to that user. So we built a new API that allows doing that on the fly, put in any two user FIDs and get back their past interaction history. Send feedback if you have problems. If you want to look at building agents, reach out. And then yesterday, this was related by popular demand. You can now make a simple bot for free, demo.neynar.com. Just sign in and copy the code block and start casting over API. So I'm assuming that's a much simpler, not necessarily an AI agent, but a couple of different types of ways to create some sort of automated content, if you will. So can you talk a little bit, like, what's the difference between the bot versus the AI agent, and like how do people get started if they want to build something?
Yeah. The way we talk about it, at least internally, and TBD, you guys should tell me whether this is also whether people think about it generally, is when we think about an AI agent, it's a more complicated piece of software. Where you need a few different things for it to work. The agent needs to feel intelligent to some extent. It needs to know who the user is, what they're doing, what they've done in the past. It needs to have capabilities, so to say. It needs to have some sort of memory, could be stateful, could be stateless, could be looking up on the fly, but needs to have some understanding of the context it's placed in. And a bot, on the other hand, the way we think about it, is it does one thing, and that's all it's meant to do. Like an Elon jet bot, for example, just tweets out where Elon is taking his private jet. Or an ETH price bot might just be tweeting out the ETH price every 6 hours. Or a CryptoPunk bot might tweet out.
Please don't build that. Not right now.
Every punk NFT sale. And yeah, not suggesting that people build the ETH price bot. But that's the kind of difference we think about it. And so when you're trying to build something intelligent, there's a whole layer of tooling you need, all the way from gathering context, bringing its capabilities to life, understanding when new events happen on the protocol, so getting webhook events delivered to your backend, while a crypto NFT sale bot just needs to know one thing: when a sale happens, and then just keeps tweeting it out. It doesn't respond. It doesn't know about anything else. It doesn't know who you are. It's literally there to put information out in the world. And so the simpler side of things, you can now build for free, because we have gotten to a point where we don't necessarily need to charge for that kind of thing. The more complex intelligence side of things still requires enough infrastructure that it both makes sense to pay if you're serious enough about it, and it takes enough effort on our side to run it that we can't offer it for free yet.
Cool. I think that's great though, because there are, like you said, some very simple things that are interesting, but they don't require a conversation with a bot. You know, it's just information delivered, which can be really helpful. And we've seen that on Twitter for years. And then they deprecated all of that, where they, or it costs a lot of money, for their APIs. So that to me is a huge benefit for Farcaster. So that's really great. Adrian, you want to talk about your bot?
I'm triggered. Rich, have you followed along my bot?
She won't.
She
said it's not an AI agent until it gets smarter. So
according to Rich's definition, it's doing more than bot, but it's just not, like any AI. It's like, what I'm finding is it's really good 10% of the time. I'm like, oh my God, you get a result and you're like, holy cow, it's so intelligent.
Yeah.
It's like mid 50% of the time. You're just like, meh, not super helpful, or just not that. And then 40% of the time it lies.
Yeah.
Like it's just wrong. I'm
I did that yesterday. I was like, I asked it if it could explain wow, and he's like, oh, they've never mentioned it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we've done a whole show on that.
It's been so much fun to build Rish, though. Like, and like for me, like I just have learned a ton being hands-on, like actually figuring out how do you get, like, it was a single use bot in the beginning.
Right.
And I guess it was like, yes, it had AI capabilities. Like it wasn't just, deterministically looking up the price of something, but it was like single use. Like you asked it a question, it would go search our transcripts and just try to answer your question using that. And then I realized there's so many other things people want to engage with the bot about. So it would say things like, when was Rish on our show?
Yeah.
How do you answer that? By looking up in transcripts. So unless like Prof and I actually answered that and said like, hey, that data wasn't in the transcripts. So I added workflow routing to kind of ask the LLM, what type of question is this person asking, and what should the data source be? Should it be should you search the transcripts, or should you search the metadata? And if you search the metadata, here's the JSON, here's the database of now it's like, oh, Rish was on in January so-and-so 2024. Here's the link.
Yeah.
So starting to add all that complexity, trying to give it intelligence, like to know intent. What type are you asking? Oh, and there, it's just interesting. So and then like anything, the more you add complexity, the worse it gets, because like you can't perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of adding. I know all the things I need to go back and how to improve. But I have so much respect now for people who can build bots that are like really useful and helpful. It's like it's not easy.
It takes a little bit of,
I love this.
But for what it's worth, I have followed your bot journey, and I really loved what you're doing with that. I think show bots are actually a pretty good idea for somebody joining a new show or whatever, like format of show for the first time, and to get historical context. And in this specific case, I think Farcaster has a lot of like stories that are built up over time. And your transcripts are probably one of the best sources to learn about what's happened. And for a bot to be trained on it is actually really good. So I'm excited to see how that shapes up.
I mean, that is the ultimate vision for it, which is like, we've been doing our shows, it's all videos. Like all we hear is good feedback of like, oh, you're capturing time capsule of Farcaster history, like, and so many people, especially it's like, we're here early, you're building, you're in this weird genius. Everyone's doing interesting things. It's hard to document and kind of capture the stories. Certainly like Merkel's not doing it when you're trying to find product market fit. Like you're not navel gazing to like tell your, it's and
it's great for new folks if it's working right. Like it's great because they can see something. If we get this going well, they can see something on their feed and go like, wow was a great example. Like, I don't know what that is. I've only been here one day. And so if it can answer that kind of question, and then, oh, if you want to dive more, here's the video. Like it's fantastic.
Okay.
It's not quite there yet.
I know this is a show and it shouldn't be a therapy session, but I just want everyone to hang up, and I just want Rish one-on-one so I can do a therapy session. Because
I'm happy to find time to help you with this, by the way. You should just message me and we can help you with your agent.
This is why he's been invited here for therapy session.
When I the first version of the bot, I only trained it on Farcaster 101 content, which is our, I'm going to plug it. We did a 12-part video series sponsored by Snickerdoodle, just introducing people. Like it was actually supposed to be educational, introducing you to every component, like part of Farcaster, from like, what is the protocol, the history,
It's like 3 months old and so out of date. Like,
but you should still watch it.
I believe
you should still watch it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff
Will
that's
do.
missing, like that has come since then. It's crazy.
Right. Was it before Frames V2? Anyway, so but when the bot was only trained on that, and it was like your specialty is helping users, like it was so good. And then it's almost like the more content I give it, it has access now to transcripts from all of GM Farcaster and the hub and Vibe Check, like has so much knowledge that the answers almost get worse because it's not as specialized.
Yeah. Is your content vectorized?
Vectorized.
Like,
it is not like I have embeddings for everything. Is that what you mean?
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yeah. How else would you search it?
I would like the other way would, which is, I'm glad you're not doing that, would be to just give it lots of context as part of like a context upload file.
No, everything's embedded. So vectored everything, but I realize everything's in one index.
I see.
All of our shows. So I'm like, my new thing is like, oh, maybe I need a separate index for different types of content.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, if you're asking about, educational content, here's the Farcaster 101 index.
Yeah.
Okay. Therapy session over. I still need to build a frame. Anyway. Okay.
And we still need to build a frame. But I love that you've been working on the spot. I think it's so fun.
Here's my question then for people using, so Rish, you're always saying, like contact me. You guys are doing developer calls. Like, are you doing are there group chats? Like where do you, for people who are solo
She needs
developers,
group therapy now is what she's looking for.
I don't need group therapy. I just also believe in this, how do you help not just yourself, but the community and everyone building, which is why I do I want to ask questions in public because it's going to get indexed somewhere. It's going to help someone else. So are there, do you guys have Telegram chats or?
No, I'm actually looking for feedback on this. So this is a great question. We don't have Telegram chats or Discord groups or any other kind of such thing. We only have the neynar channel on Farcaster, and you can either DM me or you can post in that channel. So there's one public forum and one private forum. And so we have a lot of DM threads or group threads with specific customers who will reach out, and I'll add somebody from my team. But there's no cross-customer group chats outside of the neynar channel. But I'm curious, does the neynar channel work? Sometimes I feel like maybe it's not the right fit. Maybe we should spin up something else, but we haven't done anything like that yet.
No, I just need to know. It doesn't work because I don't know that's what I should be doing.
I see.
So I think it's just, yes, if you want to make it a public kind of support channel,
I think that's a great way to do it.
Just tell people I'll post everything in neynar now because obviously I know you can answer me, but I also think there's so many more other people doing things that are similar that I'd love to learn from. Before I worked at GM Farcaster and started a consulting company, I worked at an organization that had the engineering department was about 1,000 people big. I didn't need to ask people outside. There was just always communities built in that you would bounce ideas off of, learn together.
Absolutely.
And now as a solo dev, it's hard. You're on an island.
Much harder,
So I know I can go to you one-on-one, but it's I'm kind of looking for that community dev.
Spirit. I would love to use the neynar channel more for it. And if for some reason that isn't the right forum, then I'm very open to spinning up whatever the right forum is. But we have tried to just tell people to use the neynar channel and see if it works.
I think that's great.
Heard it here. Use the channel.
Heard it here. Use the channel.
This is a good.
I was doing the same thing. Go ahead, you.
Okay.
You do it.
This is a good question from Red Wings.
I was I saw the question. I was pulling that same thing.
The question, how does the Farcaster migration to SnapChain impact or change neynar? But before you answer that, can you do what is SnapChain? What should we know about it? And thoughts on it?
SnapChain is a major protocol upgrade. The simplest way, and somebody from Varun or Sanjay should come in and explain the details of it. But for the very simple, high-level way to understand it is that Farcaster is specifically not a blockchain today. It's a gossip sub-protocol. Messages are gossiped from one node to another. What that means is that, unlike blockchains, Farcaster doesn't have a notion of time. Blockchains have a very strict notion of time, which is necessary because in a ledger, you want the order to be accurate, so you know where money moves. But Farcaster is not a financial ledger, and so you don't need the order to be accurate, so it doesn't have a notion of time. What that does mean is that because it doesn't have a notion of time, messages can come in and out of order. So you can receive a reply before you can receive the parent hash if you're a hub operator. And this creates all sorts of issues when you're developing things on top of Farcaster. A lot of those issues are abstracted away by infrastructure providers. But if you're an infrastructure provider, then your hubs are not in sync. Some customer might come in and say, hey, I don't have this event on your hub, but it is on other hub. I got the reply, but I didn't get the parent cast, or any number of things can happen. And so what the SnapChain upgrade does is that it sort of brings Farcaster closer to having a notion of time, where instead of blocks, you're producing snaps. There is a snap producer, similar to how there were block producers or are block producers on blockchains. And snaps are ordered. And so you can look at a certain snap and be like, okay, this is the snap for this point in time. What it does, so the question that was asked, like, what does it do for neynar? It's just some work for us where as part of this protocol upgrade, we have to do the work to like now be a snap producer, which we will be. And we are working with Merkle to be I think we are the only, or at least the first external party to do this, to be a snap producer to start. And over time, there will be more as the network gets more stable. And the network, like I think the way this works is that at any point there's a vote, like there's a number of snap producers who can vote, and they vote the next producer in line, and the next producer produces the next set of snaps. And so we'll have to start doing all of that. But as a result of this, ideally, the network will become a lot more stable. And you will know when events are coming in and out, if they're in order, if you've got the right set of events, if something is missing. And obviously, there will be some issues as you get started. And we are going through that phase now. Like our SnapChain hub wasn't syncing to the Merkle hub for a while, and we've been debugging with them. And I think maybe it got solved like a couple of days ago. So we are still going through the testnet phase. But over the next couple of weeks or so, hopefully we'll get to mainnet. And over the next few months or so, hopefully the network will get more stable, and building apps will get easier. For us, building infrastructure will get easier.
Is this a replacement for hubs or working in addition to hubs?
No, I mean, they're still called hubs. It's just a different
It's like an implementation of the hub. So the hub has all the Farcaster data in it. SnapChain is how the data is written and organized within a hub.
Yep.
Got it.
So we get more stability. Is this a trade-off in terms of kind of decentralization, like at a protocol level, in terms of like what content is allowed to be written, like who's?
I mean, not on the long term, I don't think. I think there is a near term, like anybody can write content. Like you can have like anybody can spin up a write hub, even with SnapChain. The only thing the write hub does is that it propagates the right message to a snap producer, and the snap producer produces the snap and puts it in the SnapChain. So it's not like there's only 2 write hubs or something. There can be infinite number of write hubs. It's the number of snap producers that are limited in the beginning, just to get the network to stability, and then grow from there. I think this is pretty common. Like every L2 starts with 1 sequencer and then decentralizes. Even for like L1 blockchains, like they started with a single node somewhere, and then people spun up nodes. I mean, even for Farcaster, I think we were the first one who offered a hosted hub outside of Merkle, and now there are thousands of them. And so I think if you just zoom out for like a year or a year and a half, there will be many snap producers.
How much are you getting paid to run a hub?
We are paying a lot of money to run many hubs.
Okay, that was just a joke. That was a joke, and you have to have watched our past episodes to get it. If you don't.
There are no.
I wish we were getting money to run a hub. That would be
How
good
much are they
business,
paying you?
But unfortunately, not enough.
I can't find the thing. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Here it is. In this house, we believe.
There are no rewards for running hubs. Not today, not ever.
There you go.
Warps do not fluctuate in value, though you can now convert them to USDC.
You can now convert them to USDC, but they still don't fluctuate in value.
And swap them for some clanker? I don't know.
There you go.
I feel like
I do have a question, or not a question, but wanted to share this. Cast Search just got another big upgrade, algorithmic and sorting. This new sort finds relevant casts sorted by recent engagement and uses neynar score to filter spam. As always, let us know if you have questions or feedback, which I thought this was kind of cool. And this is all using the neynar score. So what is the neynar score? How is that being determined? And is this something like different apps and things can can pull in and use as for their purposes, like to help what they're doing?
Yeah, anybody can use this for their purposes. So I think there's at least was some confusion in the past where we are using it for something. neynar actually doesn't use the neynar score. We just produce the neynar score so other people can use it. All our services are like regardless of whatever the score is. And what the score does is that it measures the quality of an account on the network. Obviously, not all accounts are human. And not all content is AI or human. What it doesn't do is it doesn't separate humans from bots. That's not what the score is about. So you can have a bot that has a good score, like Ethernet and Clanker have pretty good scores, I think. And you can have humans who have bad scores if they're engaging in spammy behavior. And so it just looks for spammy behavior on the network and gives a scoring to an account. As a human, you can have multiple accounts. Individual accounts can have different scores. Like I have a few test accounts that have bad scores, and my main account has a good score, so on and so forth. Obviously, it's not a perfect system. There's some opacity to it, which is partly by design, because if it's fully transparent, then it's gamed immediately, similar to how email spam filtering algos are somewhat opaque. But we built it to help our own infrastructure separate content. There's just so much content that you need to know what to do machine learning on, what content to surface in the feed, in replies, these kind of ranking things on search. And as we were building it, we didn't have plans to externalize the score necessarily. We just got asks where the use case fit this score being externalized. And so that's like, even today, for anybody using the score, it's under an experimental header where you have to turn on the experimental header to get the score. And that's because we put it under that because we weren't sure that this would actually be something useful. But when we put it out, people started using it. So at some point, we might actually move it out of experimental state into our normal product.
Okay. Is this the same as what, I'm assuming this is different from what the Merkle team is using for their spam filtering, or are they relying on that? Like, are they using that?
No, they're
at all?
independent algos.
Totally
I think
different.
the outcome looks largely the same. Similar to how you can have like a Gmail inbox, a Hotmail, and a Yahoo, but a spam filter might filter out the same kind of spam on different inboxes with independent algos. So I think the outcome looks largely the same, but the algos are independent of each other.
Okay, great. We did have a question in the chat from Yes to Crypto. I'm meeting with Rafi later today. What is a good question to stump him with?
Let's see. Rafi's been working on frame stuff recently, and I think he was. I think building V2 frames is still relatively hard, and even we have to go through a lot of like stuff to get through it. A good question for him. He might know the answer to this, but how do you bust a cache so the V2 frame embed appears correctly on the Warpcast client? And we just had to figure that out 2 days ago. So I'm not sure if Rafi's caught up yet.
So there you go. There you go. Yes to Crypto. Your stump question has been presented.
Rish, did you meet?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you meet Rafi on Farcaster?
We did, yeah.
So I don't know if we've cataloged that, but another example of people getting jobs through Farcaster.
Yeah, we've actually had the opportunity to work with many people through Farcaster. Like we started with Pixel, and most Farcaster people we work with ends up in sort of like a internship kind of thing, where we work with them for a few months and everybody's working on projects and they go do some other project. So we worked with Pixel, Dylan, Kevin, like O'Connell, Rafi. Yeah, it's been great. We love finding people who are deep enough into the ecosystem, who already know what Farcaster is and neynar is. And when they join, they can kind of continue doing things similar to what they were already doing on the outside, but now from within the neynar team. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
And then now there's some of those folks moving over to base. So it's like this whole like little path there.
Or
like
Merkle.
Dylan, great example. Yeah, or Merkle.
Yeah.
Okay,
weird, I got fired because of
Farcaster.
you gotta balance things out. You still have to do your work. Can't spend all day on Farcaster, or can you? Anyway.
You can is the
You
answer.
can,
But
you
yeah.
can, but you have to make the world that you want to see in the. So what else do you have on the table that people should know about? What else is neynar working on that in terms of V2 frames, maybe? Like what do we need to know from the
Yeah, a couple
neynar crew?
cool things, I guess, in the pipeline that I can talk about briefly. And some of these things are actually out. We wait for a little bit to announce things, but if for somebody looking keenly at our docs page, they might find some of these things on there already. So one of the things we noticed when talking to developers is that agents want to prompt users to transact. So not only do they want to do their own transactions, which kind of what Banker and Clanker and these kind of agents are doing, but they want to have users transact with them. And the best way to prompt these kind of transactions is to give the user a frame, saying, hey, here's a frame. If you tap on the frame, you can transact with me. These kind of frames need to be generated on the fly, where you just need to give a transaction. The frame needs to be made dynamically when you decide what the transaction is, and you need to cast out that frame to the user. So we now have APIs that allow you to dynamically create these transaction frames.
Cool.
And you just send one API call. You tell us what the transaction is. There's specific parameters. You get back a frame URL. The frame is already hosted. We host it. We render it. You just go put that frame URL in a cast, and the user can tap and transact with you. And obviously useful for both humans and agents, but we think agents will use it. We will have more frame tooling, where today I think frame building is pretty hard, but we'll get to a point where you can just create a frame and walk through a few prompts, and you'll get a rendered frame out of the box.
So similar to what you were doing with V1 frames, where you had some no code options there.
This won't be no code necessarily,
okay.
because the V1 frame didn't expose any code,
very basic,
even on the other side. But this one will get you started without writing any code, like a very simple hello world frame, let's say. But to get from hello world to whatever you want to do, you might still want to put that in cursor and tell cursor what to do, and it'll put the code in. So we'll have that on the frame side as well.
That's so cool. So Rish, for my agent, I can be like, oh, as the agent's recommending content, it can be like, oh, and by the way, here, you can mint this episode. And
yeah, absolutely.
Which we have frames for doing that, but it's oh, you're playing cast out. Here's the stupid cast out token. Just kidding, Frap. The cast out token's not stupid.
It's not stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do stuff like that.
I call all meme tokens stupid today.
They are.
That's the
they are. It's okay. They are. It's all good.
Yeah, so we won't actually announce that for I think a couple more weeks, because we are still testing and figuring things out. But you can try bits and pieces of this already, and the APIs are out if you look at our API docs in detail.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Adrian, what else? What did I miss?
Oh my God. Okay. So I know we're running out of time. I have a few lightning round questions, updated ones from last year, Rish. But if we have time, can you tell us what neynar was before it was a Farcaster developer platform?
For those who don't know.
Yeah.
I did not know. I thought it was always a Farcaster developer platform.
No. So we started with an NFT app, not that different from the older version of Zora. So Zora is all about ERC20s now, but the previous version of Zora, where you could scroll through NFTs and look at them, and we never built it as far as they did, obviously. So you couldn't double tap to mint and whatnot. But it was like a TikTok version of NFTs. So you had a full page viewer, and you would scroll through NFTs. And the only main thing we did on top of that was that all the data of whose NFTs you were looking at would come from Farcaster. So you would sign in. It only had one login, which was a Farcaster login. I think it's still one of the only kinds of its logins till date. This was before sign in with Farcaster, sign in with neynar, where it was a fully client-side login, custom built for this, using a mixture of our own APIs and Warpcast APIs. Was pretty cool back 2 years ago, when none of the tooling existed. And so you would log into Farcaster, and we would pull your graph, and we'd show you what your friends had minted at that time. And this was during the open mint season, where all the open mints were taking off. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I really liked it. And this was pre-hubs as well. So we were using Warpcast APIs for it. And somewhere halfway through this journey, and this was like December 2022, January 2023, I think hubs came out around March 2023. And so we started running on hubs because Warpcast APIs were too slow and cumbersome to like fetch all that data. Like if you were Dan, who was beta testing our app, he was following or being followed by like thousands of people. And then we would just spend 30 seconds getting his followers. And that was super slow because we were using Warpcast APIs. And so we started running our hubs. App became a lot more smoother, snappier. You could like go do things. And as an experiment, like we were still like the app was still in alpha phase. Like maybe 30 odd people were using it. I saw Chris Corella commented on this yesterday. He was one of our earliest like supporters using the app, giving us feedback. And while we were doing all of that with like 30 odd people, Man and I just decided to run this experiment where we threw out a landing page that said, hey, we have hubs. If you want access to it, you can subscribe. The hubs weren't externalized. So there was like, we hadn't yet figured out how to give it to people. We just threw out like a single landing page with a Farcaster Arch logo we built through Midjourney and a Stripe checkout link. And like 3 or 4 people paid us in like the first couple of hours. And we were like, oh shit, we have money now, but we haven't really given them the product. So we stayed up that night. We kind of figured out how to give like an external facing URL to them. And it was a very simple 1-line URL. And we sent an email saying, hey, here's your URL. Here's a code snippet you can use to ping this URL to get data. And we called it Hubs Cross neynar. And that's the reason hubs.neynar.com is still a valid web page today, because that's where we started. And people started using it. And then we were like, okay, I guess people are actually more interested in this and they're paying us for it than they were interested in our app. So we started building more infrastructure. And then in a couple of months after that, we shut down the app and fully focused on doing this instead.
Love it.
Lord.
Amazing.
I did not know that story. And like,
I liked the arch, like I don't know, it was very cool the way you had like that arch. I don't have it handy.
And like in the old days, you'd build software, like you'd spend months or years like building something before you let the world see it, and then you can figure out how to get people to pay for it. And I've heard of this approach. It's like you get people to pay for something before you build it, because the build times are so fast now. So it's like, in terms of shortening feedback loops, it's like, what do people want? What does the market want? Put up a landing page.
Yeah. We still do this from time to time. It's obviously hard to find out when we did it, but we announce features that we haven't built, and people try to use it, and then we kind of quickly build it and give it to them. And we usually have some hacky approach that allows us to do that. Allows us to get to like valuable signal much faster.
That's very cool.
Very cool. All right,
Adrian.
Should we wrap up with some quick questions?
Hit your questions.
Okay,
yeah,
let's go. Rish, if you could bring one person, living or dead, to Farcaster, who would it be?
Living or dead? I liked the F1 racer Ayrton Senna. Would be cool to hear from him. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why, but I felt like you were going to go. I felt like you were going to go Roman Empire on this, but okay. That was interesting. I was not expecting F1.
F1 racing is my Roman Empire.
Okay, I don't follow F1. Is this person alive or dead?
Dead, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I think I was going
alive.
With, I'm guessing from this. I was guessing from this comment. Yes.
Oh, I didn't see. Yeah. But I was going to say, if it was alive, just get Ted on it, because she's busy bringing people over. Okay.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton is a fine living F1 person, or Valentino Rossi on MotoGP. So if Ted, you're listening, these are great people to bring on.
There we go.
Ted. Okay, I literally know nothing about F1 racing.
Me neither. But there's a lot of folks who are very into it on Farcaster. Like, I've seen a lot of chat about it. So very interesting.
What is the most underrated Farcaster feature?
Underrated Farcaster feature, like at a protocol level. I can answer at a protocol level. I think FIP2 is pretty underrated. I've always felt FIP2 was very underrated. I don't think Warpcast uses it well enough. So obviously nobody else uses it well enough. But I think it's a pretty cool thing, and I would like for it to be better used.
Okay, follow up. What's FIP2?
FIP2 is the underlying mechanism on which channels are or were built.
Okay.
But FIP2 came like a year before channels, and it's essentially what gives the parent to any object or any interaction on the protocol. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. What is the best use of frames you've seen so far?
Farcade is a pretty cool V2 frame. I've enjoyed quite a few games on it.
Love Farcade. What's your favorite Farcade game?
I think the first time I played, I feel like it's kept changing over time. I don't remember what do they have now? The first time I played on it, it was like some old retro video game, like a space cat.
Yes, like the Space Invaders one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new one that's similar to that, but it's an updated one called Hyperheat. That's really fun. That you'd like that one. Yeah, I think you're talking about, I forget what it's called, the Geo something. But yeah, it's like a Space Invaders one.
Yeah.
All right. If you could ban one type of cast forever, what would it be?
One type of cast.
That's funny. I haven't heard that question before. That's a good one.
Oh, I have a good one, which I think is controversial, but I'll go with it. Anytime somebody says cook to not referring to actual cooking.
I love that. Speaking of cooking, are we getting more Glazio's Kitchen anytime soon?
Yeah. I think she likes making those shows. So,
I love those.
I think there will be more actual cooking content.
Yes, we loved that. So bring it back. We want more. We want more Glazio's Kitchen for sure.
What is your favorite Farcaster bot?
Favorite.
Burrow-Dutch was called out about cooked.
Favorite Farcaster bot. It's hard to pick a favorite, honestly. I think there are some really good agents today that I like. I like Planker. I like Ethernet. I am excited to have Farcaster history covered in GM Farcaster bot. I'm not sure I can pick a favorite.
All right.
Don't want to make the robot overlords mad by choosing favorites, just in case.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
That's why I'm always polite to my chat GPT. I always say please and thank you.
What is one thing you wish more people understood about crypto?
It's blockchains are time machines.
Say more.
I mean, they have a very specific ordering of time. They keep history forever. You can know exactly the order of events matters a lot in history. Because if you look back at like very old history, it's really hard. Like it's one of the hardest things to understand cause and effect and what came first and after. And on like blockchains make that a lot easier. Which is obviously like not everything will move to blockchains, but for digital artifacts, it gives us a recorded order of history.
And the rewriting of history. Like history has been rewritten and retold so many times.
Yeah. The victors write the history. Yeah. So that's a great point. So hopefully we'll have a little more factual basis for at least some of it.
I have more questions, but I think I need to end it on that deep thought
so good.
that blockchains are time machines. Like 10 out of 10 notes.
Nice deep thought. And I love that. Yeah, your ENS is a time capsule. I love that. Yeah, totally. Love this. I do want to mention one really quick thing before we wrap, but we do have Lil Poker tonight. So if anyone is interested in playing, reach out. That's not specifically to you, Rish, but if you want to play poker, let me know.
Thank you.
We're playing at 7:00, but you'll also be able to watch right here. We'll be streaming it. So even if you don't want to play, you want to watch, we'll be chatting about Farcaster while we play poker. So lots of fun. Anything else, Adrian, before we wrap?
No, but if you liked having Rish on because you like Devi type content, make sure you check out the Hub. I'm going to be uploading a few new episodes to the Hub RSS later, so subscribe to that show. And next Wednesday we have Kasra, which is Kecker's friend, JC4P, who's has the best frame arc, which is like he builds a frame a day. He was here, and then I think he hit his limit, and he's like, I'm done with frames. I think he had yesterday. I think I saw him cast like I'm out. But I'm
super out of
excited
ideas for now.
I'm really excited to get him on to talk about, we've got Rish from the dev tooling side. I'm excited to talk to someone who's building frames. Rish, can we not let a year go by before you come back?
Yes, please. We'd love to be back. Thank you for having me.
Next time, anytime you have something that you want to talk about too, just reach out to us. We love having you on here anytime. Devi type content. We like Devi type content. There we go. This has been so fun. Please say hi to your lovely wife, who we just adore. For those who don't know, Stephanie was like with us for like the second episode, the lost episode. We were trying to get her on as a regular co-host, but it wasn't her deal. But also look for Galazio's Kitchen because it's really fun. She does great cooking content.
Yeah, she enjoys that
really
a lot.
Fun. Love it. Absolutely love it. And somebody shouted out we were talking about talking about AI agents. Banker's a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Banker launched Banker and somebody used Grok today.
Yeah, I saw
to call the banker to launch a token. Which was
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, Galazio's watching. Hey, Galazio. All right. And with that, anything else, Adrienne? Last call.
No. Right. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday, everybody. We'll be back Monday. Monday starts Crypto the Game. So starting next week, I'm going to get a little crazy. You're going to see lots of updates from me while I'm playing this game until they vote me out. Or maybe right to the end. Let's see. So it's going to be fun. So we will see you then. And with that, everybody, bye-bye.